Hello there, Darren Amos, financial advisor and specialist equity release advisor. I've just given you an update on the changes to valuations and things being proposed by many of the lenders at the moment. In particular, I was on a webinar today organised by Answers in Retirement Later Life Academy and Just were doing a presentation about their new processes. Basically, many of the lenders are realising that physical valuations are practically impossible at the moment, so they're all allowing us to use desktop valuations. They do, of course, bring some issues. Now, first things first, I'm going to share a screen with you. Here we go. And the screen you'll see there is from Just's website. It tells you the changes to lending criteria max LTVs. They have changed their lending criteria slightly. They won't allow certain products, certain properties now to have desktop valuations. Properties over a certain value, properties of a certain build type. So read the criteria carefully, but assuming that you meet their criteria, you can then proceed with an application. Then they'll just do a desktop valuation, straight to offer, away you go. So in many ways, you could speed up the process for many applications. So that's good news. But obviously there are criteria to fit. So read through their changes to lending criteria particularly. And then you'll also find that they're going to do a further survey post-sale once everything settles down. Well, obviously that could be several months yet. I mean, there's going to be a bit of a backlog of people not being surveyed. But when they get there, they will then send that, go to the client, survey again, and then that could cause some issues. If the valuation comes in at less than the current valuation that we originally said, if it's based on market forces, i.e. property prices falling generally, they're going to ignore that because that would happen if they were offering a drawdown facility anyway. If they were to find something that would mean the property was not suitable and would not normally have been accepted, then they're going to not just panic about it, they're trying to find a way around that. They have said that they're going to try and work with the client to try and correct it. So for example, if there's a damp problem or the roof needs repairing or something, they will try and work with them, perhaps in the form of a further advance to cover that cost to do that, get the work done. So not a big issue there. So they are trying, and obviously Just not the only company but that are doing this. This process is very similar for other companies. Pure are doing the same sort of thing. I've been talking to them yesterday. But overall, it's a good step forward, and in fact, it could make things better at the moment than they normally are. One thing to be very aware of is at the bottom of the page there, you'll see it's got an additional customer questionnaire. Click on the green link there, and it pops up with a page like this. Now, it asks you how many rooms there are in the house, that sort of thing. This needs to be filled in by the client. Do this with the application, otherwise it's just going to hold things up. So, because you know it's going to need to be done, so get it done. And the usual things, these are things that obviously the surveyor would have done at the time of the survey. So you can do that for him. So he can then do the desktop bit. Behind the scenes stuff is very clever. But one big thing here is because the surveyor's not seeing the property, he can't, if he doesn't know that particular property, he can't just guess at it. So they want some photographs taken. So get the client to go around the house with a camera, mobile phone or whatever, send you the pictures. On Just's version here, you see it's asking for a rear elevation, i.e. the back of the house, kitchen, taken from the door, bathroom, taken from the door, living room or rooms, so dining rooms, etc., and bedrooms, one of each. So they know what all the rooms in the house look like, whether they're all proper rooms, whether it's just a cupboard you say is a third bedroom, that sort of thing. So they're going to go through all that, and then the client has to send that to you because it must be emailed with the form, but it must come from an email address registered for an IFA or a financial advisor of some kind, an equity release advisor. It cannot go from the client, all right? So it has to come to you. You need to certify that they're genuine, all right? And presumably you will know the client, so you should know that. And then it will go to desktop survey. Behind the scenes, that's very clever. They use lots of data from land registry. They use the outline of the property. They can use Google views and the like to see it in reality and compare that to the photograph you sent. So if your house has had an extension, it's going to show up in those photographs separately to what Google says, perhaps. So they'll spot that. So those are the things to look out for. And then once you've done that, the application should be really smooth. And I'm really pleased that the providers, specifically Just and Pure so far, I know, and other providers have done this, but those two have really made an effort to show us as advisors what they're doing. I'm really thankful to Just in particular. They are pulling out all the stops to try and keep our market moving at a time when most of us are struggling to find anything to do. So good luck to them. And that's me for now. Hope it helps you to do some business. Keep safe.